Before we begin, this video discusses a real unsolved case involving a child. I'll be sharing the details with respect and sensitivity. Viewer discretion is advised. In every shadow, there's a story that was never meant to be told. Whispers buried beneath blood, lies, and time. Here we open the ledger. The pages inked in darkness, mystery, and truth. Welcome to the dark ledger where the past never stays silent. When I first opened the old file marked Philadelphia, 1957, I didn't expect silence to feel so loud. A nameless boy found in a cardboard box. No witnesses. No fingerprints that helped. No family that came forward. Even now, almost 70 years later, the case that police called The Boy in the Box still whispers through the archives. February 25th, 1957. A young man checking animal traps on Susquehanna Road stops when he sees a box half buried in brush. Inside the blanket, the body of a little boy, about 4 or 5 years old. The exact stretch of road has changed, but the quiet here hasn't. Imagine early morning cold, no traffic, just wind through trees, and then you notice a box. The police were called. They photographed everything, collected the box, the blanket, every scrap of fiber, but the boy had no name. The medical examiner estimated he was about 3 to 7 years old, thin, underfed, hair recently cut, nails trimmed. Someone cared enough to groom him, but not enough to claim him. Investigators thought maybe an orphanage, maybe a kidnapping. Flyers were printed with the boy's face, tens of thousands of them, but the only calls that came in were guesses, rumors, and false leads. Detectives even dressed him in new clothes, hoping someone would recognize his face during a public viewing at the morgue. No one did. Right here stands a small marker that locals still visit. It reads, America's Unknown Child. Every few weeks, someone leaves flowers, sometimes toys. No one knows who they are. Maybe people who just can't stand that the story never found an ending. The details from the autopsy created more questions than answers. He had bruises, small scars healed long before death, signs of malnutrition, but the official cause, blunt force trauma. The timeline? Likely dead for only a few days before discovery. And yet no missing child report matched him. Think about that for a second. In a city of nearly 2 million people, not one person reported a little boy missing who fit that description. So investigators did what investigators do best. They started chasing the smallest details. The box once held a bassinet sold at a local JCPenney. Investigators tracked every purchase. Over 12,000 were sold, and every buyer they could find was interviewed. Nothing. The blanket? A cheap cotton flannel mass-produced. Thousands sold up and down the East Coast. Again, nothing. So they turned to fingerprints. The boy's tiny hands were inked and checked against every national record. No match. Dental charts, no match. It was as if this child had appeared from nowhere. But decades later, a single decision would change everything: DNA testing. For more than 40 years, this case stayed cold. But a strange pattern of almost breakthroughs kept appearing. Clues that felt like they should lead somewhere, but didn't. Let us go through the 3 most perplexing leads investigators chased, the ones that still spark debate today. First, the foster home theory. Just a short drive from where the boy was found stood a foster home. Neighbors reported unsettling behavior from the family who lived there. When detectives visited, they found bassinets, the same type sold in the box. A psychic, yes, a psychic, told investigators to search that house. Normally that wouldn't mean much, but the Foster family did have a child matching the boy's general age. The theory suggested the boy had lived there and died accidentally, or worse, but no evidence ever connected the Foster home to the victim. No DNA, no physical proof, nothing. The lead was inconclusive. Next, the confession. Years after the case seemed forgotten, a woman came forward with a story. We'll call her Martha. She claimed her parents purchased a boy, kept him hidden in their basement, and that she witnessed the abuse that led to his death. The description she gave matched the boy in the box disturbingly well. Investigators checked everything she said. Some details aligned so precisely it shook long-retired detectives, but there were inconsistencies. Parts of her timeline didn't match, and trauma can affect memory, so authorities couldn't prove her account as fact. The lead remains unverified. Finally, the blanket and the hair. One thing from the original evidence always bothered investigators. The blanket wrapped around the boy wasn't the ordinary. It was handmade, cheap material, but stitched with care. Nearby, they found pieces of hair that didn't belong to the boy. Someone trimmed his hair after he died. Whoever did it took time. Why? It suggested familiarity, not a stranger. Stand here long enough and something hits you. Whoever left him here didn't panic. This spot isn't random. Secluded, yes, but not invisible. Someone chose it. They wanted him to be found, just not identified. Years passed. Detectives retired. Boxes of evidence gathered dust. Yet in every anniversary article, one detail never changed. The boy had no name, until science finally caught up. In 1998, the boy's body was exhumed. For the first time, DNA was extracted, preserved, tested, and stored for future comparison. It would take over 2 more decades. But when the match finally came, it changed everything we thought we knew about this case. In 2022, the breakthrough finally happened. Using forensic genetic genealogy, the same method that helped solve decades-old cases, investigators built a family tree from the boy's DNA. For the first time in 65 years, the boy in the box had a name. His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born January 13, 1953. He was 4 years old at the time of his death. Police contacted surviving relatives. Some had never even heard of Joseph. Others stayed silent. The family's secrets surrounding his birth and his short life are still not fully public. Authorities confirmed both parents are deceased, and they stopped short of naming anyone as a suspect. For decades, this headstone read America's Unknown Child. After the DNA breakthrough, something changed here. People visited, not just to mourn the mystery, but the boy himself finally recognized. Toys, cards, letters, strangers acknowledging a child they never met, but somehow feel connected to. DNA helped identify Joseph's lineage, but it didn't answer the most painful questions. Who hurt him? Why was he never reported missing? And why? Was silence chosen over truth? Authorities believe someone is still alive today who knows. Someone who made the choice not to speak. Here's what makes this case stay with you. This wasn't just a mystery about an unidentified child. It became a mirror reflecting how a community, a family, and a society can fail a child who needed protection. And even in 2024, investigators say the case isn't truly closed. Some answers may never be public. Some details may never surface. But after 65 years of being known only as the boy in the box, Joseph finally has what every child deserves, a name. Part 2 is where we dig deeper, not into the tragedy, but into the investigation that kept this story alive. We'll walk through the turning points, the people who refused to let the case die, and how modern forensic genealogy is changing everything about cold cases. If you're still here, you're the kind of viewer who doesn't turn away from truth, even when it's difficult. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more from The Dark Ledger.